Oh, hello. Today we're going to talk about who's playing in the finals of the World Championships of Warhammer, which are starting in probably by the time this gets uploaded, probably about 15 minutes. So check that Squad Games link in the description if you want to watch the final. So it's about the semi-finals, in case you've not been following them. So the semi-finals we had Jimmy Kelly playing Legionary, who is American after all. After I said he was American, then Games Workshop told me he was Canadian, and then I corrected myself and apologised. So now I'm correcting myself and apologising again. But Games Workshop have realised their error and fixed the flag on their little graphic, which is nice. So I watched this game. Without wanting to sound needlessly like patriotic about it, I'm pretty sure Dan crushed him. There were a lot of alive Thousand Suns at the end of that game, and not so many legionaries. So yeah, it was a triumph. And then the other semi-final, which I didn't watch, it was on the Spanish stream. So the one that the Spanish people have watched was Shane C. Smith of Command Point with Heretic Circle versus Javier with his legionaries. So we know now that the final is going to be Dan versus Javier. Let's talk a little bit about that. So legionaries versus Warp Coven. So I was fearing we were going to get legionary versus legionary. Obviously, somewhat elated to have an Englishman, Dan, with his Warp Coven through to the final. Whisper it. Could Kill Team be coming home? Don't know. Don't know. Obviously, the one thing to say here is yes, the meta is where everybody believed it to be, right? Legionary and Warp Coven in the finals feels really predictable. Um, I think since the top 16 cut was made, we've kind of learned that. It's interesting to me that Hieratech have been defeated. Inquisitor agents have been defeated. It really is it's like the midwit meme, right? People are like, oh, your instant spit take is, oh, legionaries and warp coven are overpowered, and then you get people, which I've been guilty of in the past, trying to say, well, but also these guys can play, and these guys have got a bit of play, and there's a bit more nuance here, and these might beat these, and yeah, no, the finals legionaries versus warp coven. So I think that's sometimes your sort of initial spit take is what turns out to be true, and maybe you should trust your instinct. So I feel quite sorry for Dan in a way. Obviously, he's in the finals, which is amazing, but he's now his last three games. He's played Can You Roll a Crits Legionaries on stream, and then he's played Jimmy Kelly's Legionaries on stream, and now he's going to play Javier's Legionaries on stream. And first two games definitely won, so he's just got to do that again one more time. I guess you could argue that he's in the best possible position because you know he he's had two practice games against legionaries. So obviously this is going to go live on Squad Games. The link is going to be in the description. At the time I'm recording this, I think it's about half an hour. By the time I get it uploaded for you, it's probably going to be about 10 minutes, so it's 7 p.m. UK time, we think, right? Whatever that turns out to be in your part of the world over on the Squad Games Twitch channel. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it, and obviously rooting for Dan, just because of just like being getting to channel my inner football hooligan for 5 minutes, right, before going back to not really caring about what people from my country happen to do for another year. So it's like the one time I'm going to be a bit like, Ingo Land and all that sort of stuff. Talk about new releases. It is Sunday, and just to flag up, I did say at the end of yesterday's video, I sort of said, I reckon that they'll release Lord of the Rings: The War of the Rohirrim. And they have. That's what's coming out. I did think they put out the Age of Sigmar Path to Glory Ravaged Coast book because they had said on one of their roadmaps that we were getting a narrative book in 2024. Now, okay, real talk. First of all, what do I think about Lord of the Rings? I'm not pre-ordering anything. I'm going to have a look at the rules, like on a Man Reads book or something like that. I'm going to try and get a look at them without paying for them. Make an assessment on whether... Because I have some Isengard I've never played the game, but like during the COVID pandemic, my wife and I decided we were going to buy some Lord of the Rings stuff. So I have some Isengard stuff. My wife has some Rivendell, and so depending on like how, basically, like I need to have a look at the rules, work out if the stuff we already own is like whatever the entry level game size is, and whether with really limited financial outlay we can give it a go and see if it's any good. Because big fan of Lord of the Rings, like the book. Big fan of the films as well. Not that fussed on whatever this War of the Rohirrim film's going to be. I mean, I guess I might watch it, but it doesn't look that amazing. But yeah, maybe if they've redone and refined the system, I might give it a go, see what it's like. I I can't even find out easily whether, because I think they've drastically changed the scale of the game a couple of times. Like, is it would you call it a skirmish game or a mass battle game? Like its proper size. Like I'm sure it can be played both ways, but is it a skirmish game with a sort of, oh, technically you can do mass battle stuff, or is it a mass battle game with, oh, technically it's got a skirmish version? Because those are two different things, and I just don't have any idea. So if you're a Lord of the Rings guy, let me know what the deal is with that. Now, the question is Brutal and Cunning going to come out this year? I'm going to say probably not. Like, we've got 2 weekends unaccounted for still. Like, I sort of said this last time. We have, you know, we've got the, let me have a little look here on the old calendar. We've got, you know, the Saturday the 21st and Saturday the 28th so far unaccounted for. Now, last time I was speaking, I was like, well, um, Games Workshop doesn't usually release anything the weekend before Christmas, and they usually don't, right? But they haven't released that book. So I think that book's going to come out on one of those 2 weekends, and I can't see them do. I think they'd be more likely to be like, here's a weekend, we're taking the weekend off before Christmas to get ready for the Christmas thing, than they are to kind of turn around and say, here's a book. But I feel like next Sunday's preview is going to be nothing, or like some made to order stuff or whatever. And then after that, the weekend after Christmas could come out then, sure. There's probably going to be a miniature. There's always a Boxing Day, like they usually do a miniature, like a limited edition miniature. We've seen a leak of a cool skeleton, haven't we? I wonder if that's going to be the Boxing Day miniature this year, or whether it's going to be something else. But yeah, I don't know. But it's possible that a Brutal and Cunning sneaks out just before Christmas, or just after Christmas. Who can say? But they have said they're going to get that narrative Age of Sigmar book out. Where that slipped back, I don't know. I'm not that fussed. I'm not that interesting, but it's a thing. So, yeah, we are where we are. And that's really it. That's all I want to say. So, obviously, I'll be watching the finals in about 25 minutes my time. 10 minutes. It'll be about 15 minutes your time, probably. And yeah, cheering for Dan Barton. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Are they going to squeeze out the next Kill Team box before Christmas? What are the odds? And does anybody care about Lord of the Rings? Or, it's going to be like Underworlds again, where I start caring about something everyone's like, we don't care about this, Phil. What's what Kill Team? Speaking of talking about Kill Team, I'm aware there was an FAQ, and I haven't done a breakdown video. I just, World Championships kind of got in the way, plus just not quite feeling doing a longer, more thoughtful video. But I will try and do an FAQ breakdown on Monday, when after you've already gone and watched Andy and Crit do it instead, and therefore, like the 3 people that just watch every video that I make will go and watch it, so that's fine. You're the real guys, so that's the one. Yeah, and speaking of the real guys, just thank you to all of my members, subscribers, and supporters. Means a lot, right? Especially when it's easy to get loads of views when you are putting, like, I will get back on the faction the faction review train, but the faction reviews are a lot like it's my entire evening. Like I come home from work and then it's my entire evening is making a faction review. And people like those, except that they don't. The thing with faction reviews is, if you do a faction that nobody cares about, nobody watches the review. Like, very few people watch all of them. So the novitiates one, even though novitiates are really, like, being talked up as being quite good, nobody cares. Nobody watched that video. Like, nobody likes novitiates. They are real. I keep referencing it. Years ago, I did a video called "How Does the Hobby Affect the Meta?" and Novitiate's got that real thing which nobody likes the models. I don't know. But yeah, I'll get back on the train with that soon. I'll do everything soon. More of everything soon. More. I'm still not satisfied. Yeah. Right. Well, just time for me to give a shout out to Compendium Lover, um, who is subscribed at the very utmost tier and therefore gets a shout out at the end of every single video. And thanks to everybody else. Right. Enjoy the final, everybody. Cheery bye. Bye 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 bye.